Also, remember, you are so strong. You are so strong. You've made it through some really, really tough times. We've all made it through. Think of some of the wildest things you've been through, and you made it through that. And you thought, how am I going to get through this? And you did it. And so I think just standing in your strength and remembering how resilient you are and how it's okay to cry. It's okay to say, this is a really tough moment. It's okay to open up to people and to be vulnerable. I know in the Black community, we have a thing where we don't always like to be vulnerable. It's like, never let them see you sweat. But now is not that time, right? Everybody's going through something right now. Hey y'all, Janice on the mic. So if you are one of the 600,000 Black women that were pushed out of the US labor force in 2025, I wanted to make this video for you as a love letter to you and to offer you some words of advice during this really, really difficult and trying time. I am somebody who wasn't directly impacted by job loss per se, but I own a DEI consultancy where I've partnered with a number of Fortune 500 and Fortune 100 companies and international organizations and Ivy League institutions to help them to cultivate environments that are built on equity and trust and inclusion. And of course, with everything that has happened in 2025, my business has been severely impacted. I'm also a writer, a senior contributing writer. And so a lot of my work focuses on workplace trends, workplace culture, what's happening in the workplace. And I center my work on Black women. And seeing what has happened, and I know how it's impacted me as a business owner whose work focuses on DEI. And so I'm feeling some of it too. And so I just want to make this video as, again, a love letter to Black women, but just to offer some advice during this really tough time. So here are the stats. Some of the most current data says that in February 2026, 92,000 jobs in the US were lost. And according to a March report from the National Women's Law Center, Black women's unemployment increased from 6.4% in January of 2026 to 7.1% in February of 2026. So this is 2.6 percentage points over their unemployment rate 2 years ago, and it's up 1.7 percentage points since January of 2025 when Trump took office. So many Black women, many of us are hurting right now. It's been a really, really tough year for so many of us. And I do think that we have to continue to talk about and share what we're going through. And we can't be afraid to be vulnerable, right? Because what is happening is completely unprecedented. And it's a lot. A lot of us are carrying and holding a lot. So I'm a solutions-oriented person, and I'm always focused on what can we do. Here's the problem. It's important to present the problem, but I also think it's equally, if not more important, to be able to think about and present some solutions to the problem. Number one, I think it's imperative right now to lean on your community. The Wall Street Journal just wrote about how Black women are navigating this time and how a lot of them are starting businesses and leaning on their own communities. So I think that that's vital right now. And speaking of that, I have since October of 2025, since October of 2025, I started hosting a free virtual event where I essentially invite Black women job seekers to attend, and I facilitate small group discussions so that people can get to know other people. Because one of the things that I've learned through my research is that Black women are impacted by the network gap, which essentially means that the people in our networks as Black women, we don't have enough people in our networks that are able to help us get jobs or that are in positions of senior leadership that can really impact us in our careers. And even when you look at who we are connected with on platforms like LinkedIn, Black people and Black women are more likely to be connected with other Black women. And that's just a societal thing, right? Like if you're Asian, you're more likely to be connected with Asian people. It's just in general. But this network gap impacts Black women when we're on the job market, right? Because if we don't have in our networks access to people who are decision makers and can be instrumental in helping us get our next opportunity, this just contributes to the systemic barriers and issues that we already face. So the network gap is a huge issue. And so I created these events called Reclaim the Network. Again, these are always free virtual events where Black women can meet other Black women and get to know each other. You know, in these events, I always share the story of one of my best friends who was transitioning out of the Army. And she had told us that in our friend group, she was like, I would love to work at Deloitte. That was like her dream place. And she's like, I really want to work there. And so I have a pretty robust LinkedIn network, and I'm connected with currently like 140,000 people on LinkedIn. And I looked into my connections, and I saw I had a few people who were working at Deloitte. So I messaged someone out of the blue, right? Because I don't connect with people I don't know. It's very rare that I do unless I've met you. So he must have connected with me at some point. And I just usually accepted connection requests. And so I reached out to him, told him about my friend. He introduced me to someone who was like in veteran affairs at Deloitte. Long story short, my friend got the job, right? And it was from me making those connections for her at Deloitte. And so I say all that to say that our networks are, not to be cliche and capitalistic and be like, your network is your network. But it is true that it's not what you know, but who you know. A lot of us know already that you don't get jobs because you apply. I don't know anyone who just got a job because they applied on Indeed or they applied on LinkedIn. People get jobs because of who they're connected with. And so leaning on your networks is so vital. And so I would say making sure that you attend events like Reclaim the Network. The next one that I'm hosting is on March 25th. So I will leave the information for that in the description box. But attending these types of free events, connecting and putting yourself in positions to meet and network with other people, right? Because you never know what a connection could turn into. And if you're an introvert, there are so many free virtual events on meetup.com, on Eventbrite. So really think about those websites. If you're like me, I'm a social butterfly and I'm an extrovert, but after having a kid, I don't like to be outside. I don't like to go into the city. So, do what you can with the tools that you have available, but really making sure that you're leaning on your networks and that you are connecting with people as much as you can. Also, don't be afraid to ask for help and support. This is something I often struggle with, but I keep saying new mom, but I'm not really a new mom anymore. But as a new mom, anytime anybody asks offers help, I will say yes. If someone says, do you want me to get you? Sure. Yes, please. I will not turn down free help. So don't be afraid to ask for help, to accept help. That's a big one. Especially during a time where you are going through difficulties and job loss. Many Black women during this time have been turning to entrepreneurship. And as an entrepreneur, I would advocate for it, but entrepreneurship is no walk in the park. It's no cakewalk. It's difficult, and it comes with a lot of difficulties, especially, if y'all have been keeping your ear to the news. You see what's happening with Black women businesses, especially Black women product-based businesses. And I wrote about this in an article, so I'll drop that in the description box and I'll link it above. But it's hard out here, as an entrepreneur. And so leaning on entrepreneurship can be really powerful, right? Especially if you've always wanted to explore. Maybe you have a side hustle. Maybe you crochet and you want to start selling what you crochet. Or maybe you always wanted to open a restaurant. I think a closed door provides an opportunity to, get a bigger opportunity and do something maybe unexpected that you never would have had the chance to do had you not been pushed out of the workforce. But also recognize that entrepreneurship is not this easy thing where you get to make your own schedule and kick your feet up. It's very difficult. It's unstable income. It's, building a team is hard. There's a lot of, I can make a whole video about how hard entrepreneurship is. I don't know if y'all would care, y'all would want to listen to that, but I can make a whole video on that. But now may be the time to explore the possibility of entrepreneurship, especially, if you've been in a job for a really, really long time and this is the first time you've ever had to just kind of stop and smell the roses for a second. So maybe you should. And a lot of Black women have been turning to entrepreneurship. I think we are still the fastest growing or the fastest demographic to start businesses. So that might be something that you want to explore, but go into it with realistic expectations and not sort of rose-colored glasses that entrepreneurship is going to be this amazing thing, because it is amazing in some ways, but it can be really, really difficult. And I would even argue more so difficult than when you work a job where you're getting a consistent paycheck, even if you're not in love with the job. Not to shamelessly plug, but if you need inspiration and motivation, I wrote this book called Rise and Resist, and I talk about the legacies of so many amazing Black women and their legacies of resistance. And so I think picking up and checking out that book or getting the audiobook and listening may offer you some inspiration during this really difficult time. Just listening to the stories of ancestors and those who came before us, who persisted and resisted. As I was writing it, it was very inspiring to me. So I would recommend checking that out if you're looking for some motivation and some inspiration during this really difficult time. Also leaning on whatever helps you get through difficult times. For some people, that is spirituality or their religion. Some people, it's prayer. For other people, it might be mindfulness practices. It might be, one thing I started doing is writing in a gratitude journal. I started that in early 2025. And so just writing for you also might be journaling. Whatever brings you peace and helps you come back to yourself is something that you should lean on during this time, right? And I think it's always good to have positive habits, because I think when things go wrong, it's easy to slip into habits that take you away from your core, right? I'm not going to list or name what those are. You know what they are. For some people, they may be this. For other people, they may be this. For me, I'll say I'm an emotional eater. And when I'm going through something, I love me some Cinnabon. So I will turn to a Cinnabon, and now you can get a Cinnabon, just the middle part, just the inside. It is amazing. But, I know that that's not a positive habit, so I can't do that every single day, because running off Cinnabon every day is not good for me or my health. But, I have my own practices that I lean on. My spirituality and, just my faith is something that I lean on when things get hard. And I just trust that everything is working out for my spiritual benefit and everything is working out for the greatest good, and God knows what's best. And that's me. And that's my particular beliefs and practices. And so whatever brings you peace in this moment and whatever helps you navigate what it is that you're going through, I think you should really, really lean on during this time and during this moment. Also remember, you are so strong. You are so strong. You've made it through some really, really tough times. We've all made it through. Think of some of the wildest things you've been through, and you made it through that. And you thought, how am I going to get through this? And you did it. And so I think just standing in your strength and remembering how resilient you are and how it's okay to cry. It's okay to say, this is a really tough moment. It's okay to open up to people and to be vulnerable. I know in the Black community, we have a thing where we don't always like to be vulnerable. It's like, never let them see you sweat. But now is not that time, right? Everybody's going through something right now. Now is a really, really difficult time for a lot of people. And so I think that it's okay to say, I am not okay. And so think about what brings you joy. Right now, for me, what brings me the most joy is my child. Their smiling face every day just brings me the most joy I could ever even imagine. So think about what brings you joy. And also, lastly, I want to say that there's research that indicates if you have something positive to look forward to, that can also boost your mood and make you feel more joyful, right? So maybe plan a trip maybe plan, maybe not a road trip because gas prices are gas prices, but maybe plan to go to a local museum. I signed up for a creative writing class at my local library, and that is something I'm so excited about because I love to write, but I write mostly like nonfiction. So the idea of creative writing just brings me so much joy. So that's something I can look forward to, right? Because it's like if I'm not going to be doing a lot of traveling, used to be something that I would look forward to a lot, but having a kid is hard to travel, right? And in these conditions we're living in, it's even harder. And so I think, finding something, putting something on the calendar that you can really look forward to. Maybe start when you're going to start a new TV series, right? Or you're going to go watch a movie or do something that will bring you joy and make you look forward to something, because that can really boost your mood as well. So I just wanted to offer some words of advice, and these are strategies and tips and tools that I'm also using as somebody that's navigating just a really difficult time right now in my business where things are much, much slower than what I'm used to, and just leaning on and focusing on what I'm grateful for and what brings me joy, and leaning on my friends and my community and not being afraid. I'm very open and transparent with the people around me. I'd be like, girl, this happening, this happening, this happening. Sometimes my partner's like, you be spilling too much beans. But I believe in vulnerability and transparency. And so I think being open and honest about what you're experiencing there's power in that. So that is where I'm going to leave off today's video. I hope you found something or you heard something that you can use and that will help you navigate this moment, and just know that things will get better even though it doesn't feel like it right now. I'm rooting for you. I left some resources in the comment section or the description box below. But I will see y'all. It looks like my camera's about to die, so I'll see y'all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.